Namaste. Thank you for joining me. Just a reminder that yoga is really about the breath. So we're going to breathe in, we're going to breathe out. Traditional yoga is done with breathing in through the nose. However, just breathe the way that's most comfortable for you. Listen to your body, rest, recover. Also, use a strap or a block. Modify, use a level 1, level 2, 3 or 4. So when you're ready, we're going to make your way up into a standing position. So in a standing position, it's called mountain pose. And our weight is basically on your right foot and left foot. Doesn't matter where you are on your mat. So I want you to find that mountain position. Easy standing position is that we tend to like to put more weight on one side. So I really want you to be intentional here in being both on right and left foot. Tailbone tucked under, ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips, abs pulled in. So being mindful of how well rooted mountain is, as well as how tall, lifting through your crown, breathing, expanding your chest, having a few chickens around, be distracting. So when you're ready for mountain, we're going to sit back into chair. So we're going to shift the weight back in the balls of your feet. So your toes feel free to wiggling. Just sit back into chair. Hands above your heart, hands above your tailbone. And you really want your knees tracking maybe towards the second and third toe. We're going to press up to tall mountain. So we're going to tuck your tailbone under, reach your hands to the ceiling, to the sky. And if you want, you can squeeze your glutes together, press your pelvis further forward to come into a back bend. So whatever that looks like for you. Sit back into chair. So find your chair. Hands above your heart, hands above your tailbone. Think about your knees are tracking. Come back to tall mountain. With or without a back bend. Last time we're going to sit back into chair. So again, what does that look like for you? What does that feel like for you? We're still warming up. Back to tall mountain. With or without that back bend. And then just back to mountain. So here we're just going to move our bodies just to build a bit of heat. So when you're ready, beam back towards the top of your mat, seeing most of your mat in front of you. Because we're going to use the length of your mat here. We're going to walk those hands down for forward fold. So pausing for a moment. Don't worry about your hands touch the mat or not. Take your yes and no. I'm going to walk your hands forward into plank. So find the plank. You're going to come back to downward facing dog. Lift your sit bones up. Loosen your heels. Walk those hands back to join your feet. Forward fold. Walk those hands up into mountain. Take a moment, a pause. We're going to walk those hands back down. Pausing. Walk those hands forward back to plank. So shoulders over wrists. Draw those legs back. Again, really use the length of your mat. Level 2 is here. Level 1 is to come down to your knee meets your thigh. You're not truly on your knees as you would be in a crawling position or a tabletop position. We're going to come back to downward facing dog. Walk those hands back to join your feet. Forward fold, whatever that looks like for you. Walk those hands up, back into mountain. So find your mountain. Again, most of us, our mountains are a bit more forward and leaning because we tend to look down at tablets or screens. And then we're going to walk those hands back down. We're going to walk those hands forward into plank. We're going to add on. So use your knees if you like. We're going to come to 4-point staff. So here, it's like a push-up. Your hands are closer together. It's a lot more tricep. So we're going to slowly lower yourself down. Flat to the mat. Big toes together, back in a child's pose. It's our first big resting pose. Mountain is also a resting pose when you're standing. Just take a moment to really press your sit bones back over your heels. Pull your shoulder blades back to stretch out your shoulders, upper back. Here we're going to hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. So feel free to come into mountain or stay in mountain as long as you like. Feel free to come into child's pose. Stay there for as long as you like. So both options are resting poses, whether you're standing or on your mat. From downward facing dog, we're going to come forward to plank. Here's 4-point staff, controlling it, down on the mat. Big toes together, back in a child's pose. And then tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. We're going to do one more strength series before we add the mountain series. So forward to plank. 4-point staff, controlling it, down the mat. Back in a child's pose. Tuck your toes under, back to downward facing dog. walk your hands to join your feet. So traveling back towards the back of your mat for forward fold. Walk those hands up in the mountain. So think about the mountain. Where are your ears in relation to your shoulders? How's your core? We're gonna walk those hands back down. Take a look at the top of your mat. We're gonna walk those hands forward. Now you can choose to stay here. We're gonna add on. We're gonna come halfway down. Use your knees or not. Squeeze your elbows in. It's halfway. Press back to plank. Now together, 4-point staff. Control it. It's easy to let momentum into gravity help you. Use your muscles. Back in a child's pose. Then back to downward facing dog. Then we're gonna walk those hands back to join your feet. Walk those hands up into mountain. Again, think about your mountain. And then we're gonna walk those hands back down. Take a look at the top of your mat. Walk those hands forward. This is the last one. Plank, you can choose to stay. We're gonna come halfway. Use your knees if you like. Press back to plank. Now all the way. And we're gonna do a 5 count. So you're really gonna control it. We haven't started yet. Feel free to come to your knees. You ready? We're gonna come down for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Child's pose. And then back to downward facing dog. Now we're gonna add strength series, full strength series. So we're gonna come forward to plank. Rather than going 4-point staff, we're gonna shift yourself forward so your shoulders are a bit more over your fingertips. Back to downward facing dog. That shift is gonna be really important. Ready? We're gonna come forward to plank. Shift, now lowering yourself down. You've made room to let your shoulders roll back and open your chest forward for cobra. We're gonna come on the top of your feet. Hands are light. You can bring your hands off the mat if you want, but squeeze your elbows in. You're gonna feel your low back, tucking your toes under, back to down facing dog. Once more, we're gonna come forward to plank. Shift, here's your chaturanga, through to cobra, and back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back towards the sky. Step your left foot through one or many steps for lower lunge. Hands are gonna stay here, towards your right leg back. Now we're gonna step back to down facing dog. So bring your left foot back, downward facing dog. Forward to plank. Shift forward, here's your chaturanga. Through to cobra. And then back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back. We're gonna step your right foot through for lower lunge. Hands are gonna stay here. Really draw your left leg back. Really feel the reach, the length of that leg. Then we're gonna step back to downward facing dog. Forward to plank. Shifting forward, here's your chaturanga. Through to cobra. And back to down facing dog. We're gonna walk those hands back to join your feet. So you're traveling back towards the back of your mat. Pausing for a moment, a forward fold. Sitting back in the chair. So find your chair, whatever that looks like for you. Think about your knees are tracking, belly pulled in. Or press up to a tall mountain. With or without a back bend. Swan dive down for forward fold. Take a look at the top of your mat. We're gonna walk those hands forward. So find plank. We're gonna put it all together. So plank, halfway. Press back to plank. 4-point staff all the way down. Pause. Now we're gonna reverse it. Use your knees or light. We're gonna press back to plank. Shifting forward, here's your chaturanga. Through to cobra. And then back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the left foot back to the sky. Bring your left foot forward for lower lunge. Both sets of toes facing forward. Draw your right leg back. Keep your hands here. We're gonna step back to down facing dog. We're gonna step the right foot back towards the sky. Then step the right foot through for lower lunge. Both sets of toes facing forward. Really draw your left leg back. Hands are gonna stay here. We're gonna step back to down facing dog. Then we're gonna walk your hands back to join your feet. As many hand steps as you need. Here's forward fold, we're hanging out. Find your chair. So think about what chair looks like for you. Try to let your knees knock inward, but turn them out. We're gonna press up to tall mountain. With or without that back bend. We're gonna swan dive all the way down. I'm too close to the chickens. We're gonna walk those hands forward into plank. And we're gonna come down to our knees. Now we're gonna bring those hands, so you're gonna stay on your knees, we're gonna walk those hands back. So now you're in a truly tabletop, crawling hands and knees position. We're gonna tuck your your toes under. And just take a moment to press your feet back. This is a great stretch for stretching that connective tissue that runs along the bottom of your feet. That fascia. Pull your abs in because this is a lot of core. You're going to bring your knees off the mat to hover. So elbows are soft, looking forward. Knees are barely off the mat. You're hovering tabletop. We're going to hold for 2 sets of 5. So remembering just to breathe. Relax your face. Soften your elbows. It's easy to kind of lock your joints. Really let your muscles do the work. We're going to slowly lift up to downward facing dog. So shift your weight back. Do that once more. So we're going to come back to hovering tabletop. So shoulders over your wrists. Knees, if you want, you can come down to the mat and then come back up to bounce. Soften your elbows. Pull your shoulder blades back. We're going to hold it for 2 sets of 5. I want you to focus on scooping your abs in. Keeping the abs engaged. Breathing. And the breath is simply a breath in and a breath out. 2 more to go. We're going to press back to downward facing dog. And then here, we're going to come down to our knees. We're going to walk those hands forward where we just were. Level 1 plank, we're going to bring your knees off the mat for level 2. From here, we're going to come back to downward facing dog. We're going to step the right foot back. So the right foot is for 3-legged dog, pointing your toes towards the space behind you, maybe towards the ceiling. Then we're going to step your right foot through for lower lunge. And we're going to come up in a high lunge. So draw those hands forward to the ceiling, but try to bring your shoulders over your hips. Draw your left leg back. Feel free to come down to your left knee. Don't be afraid to come down to your knee because I really want you to feel the groin stretch. So keep your shoulders over your hips. If you feel like you're off your knee, but your shoulders are forward, you can let go of that stretch. A little bit outside noise for you. I am fairly rural. And then we're going to bring your hands down the other side of that right foot. Pausing for a moment. And then we're going to step back and down facing dog. Now we're going to step your right foot back. We're going to step your left foot through for lower lunge. Take a moment to, if you need to, reposition your feet. Then we're going to bring your hands up. Again, listen to what your shoulders are coming back. Listen to that right groin. Left knee's tracking towards that second toe. Don't be afraid. Come down to that right knee. Let the stretch happen. The stretch is so important here. Our hips tend to be so tight. And then we're going to slowly bring your hands back down. We're going to come back to down facing dog. Why not? Because it's always fun. Let's come forward to plank. Shifting forward, use your chaturanga. Through to cobra. And then back to down facing dog. Next time we're going to go have an option to do up dog. So we're going to step the left foot back. Left foot back. You're going to bring your left foot through for lower lunge. Both sets toes facing forward. You're going to make your way back up into high lunge. We were just here. Draw your right leg back. I've chosen because I want you to see it. So we're going to bring hands at our center because we're going to come into a twist. So hands at our center. We're going to bring yourself up a bit and let your right hip and elbow come forward because we're going to bring and twist through the spine to bring your right elbow outside your left thigh. Now, try though not to pivot your right foot. So both sets of toes are going to stay facing forward unless you choose to come down to your knee. Heads above your heart and let that left shoulder roll back. Breathing and smiling. We have 5 to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Trying to maintain your lunge. We're going to come out of that twist. Bring your hands back down. Step back to down facing dog. We're going to switch sides. So we're going to step the right foot back. And then bring your right foot through for lower lunge. Go up to high lunge, whatever that looks like for you. Hands at heart center. Remember, we're going to bring yourself up. Let your left hip slide forward. Left elbow comes, head stays above your heart to bring the left elbow outside your right thigh. Shoulders pulled back. Trying though not to pivot your right foot. So draw the right leg back. We're going to hold here for 5. Hold those abs in. Think about the spine like a wet dish rag. It's twisting. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to come out of the twist. So it's trying to maintain your lunge. And then we're going to come back to downward facing dog. Take a moment to set up your downward facing dog position. We're We're gonna come forward to plank. Your choice. Come to your knees, come into cobra, which we've done several times today. We're shifting forward into up dog is you don't even touch the mat. So you're gonna bring yourself, scoot all the way, almost all the way down. So you've cleared the mat, and then back to down facing dog. Do that once more. So you ready? Forward to plank, shift forward, then rather bring yourself all the way down, you hover, then drop your pelvis forward and come up. Roll your shoulders back. Don't lock your elbows. It's easy to lock your elbows because that's easier than having your muscles do the work. And back to down facing dog. Now we're gonna step your right foot back. We're gonna bring your right foot forward for lower lunge. We're gonna flip your left foot, really maybe 45 degrees, 90-ish, really so the left little toe is rooted. And we're gonna open into warrior two. So the right knee striking towards that second, third toe, or your left knee back. And the root of this entire pose is the outside of your left foot. If you want, straighten your right leg and keep your hands here. Those arms are gonna come parallel with the mat. We're gonna turn so your palms are facing up. Fingertips are together, so your hand is flat. Reach out to your right, your left. Turn, look over your right hand, and right knee in that lunge position, or leg straight. So whatever you need. But you want that knee, if it's bent, tracking towards what? The second and third toe. How's your core? Pull your left knee back. Really imagine you're pressing your left little toe into your mat. Here's warrior two for 5, 4, 3, 2, and whenever you take your right hand and reach forward and flip it, take your right hand to the ceiling, left arm's gonna come behind that left leg for reverse warrior, so you're just giving your right side of your body a good stretch. Feel free to straighten your right leg. Reaching in opposite directions. We're gonna bring your right arm inside that thigh. Hand is not touching the mat. Take a moment to stack your shoulders and now reach your left hand to the sky, right hand down towards the mat. So from your sternum or breastbone, you're reaching out in opposite directions. Pull your left knee back. Holding here for 5, 4, 3, 2, and when we're gonna reverse it, take your right hand forward. We're gonna flip it. It's reaching in opposite directions. If your leg's tired, you can feel free to straighten it. Because now we're gonna go into a cartwheel. We're gonna take your hands on either side of your right foot, so pivot your left toes. So you're into lower lunge. We're gonna step back to plank. Shifting forward, you've got chaturanga into cobra or chaturanga into up dog. Your choice. And then back to down facing dog. So now we're gonna bring that left foot back. Bring your left foot forward, flip that right foot. We're gonna open your body into a warrior two. Take a bit of time to get there. Feel free to straighten your legs. Shoulders over hips, so tuck your tailbone under and arms are long, palms facing up. Fingertips and thumbs are together. Pull your right knee back, so you're really rooting that right little toe. Look out past your left hand, and if you like, take it into lunge. The left knee should not go past your toes. If it does that, just take a little bit more wider stance of your legs. It's tracking towards what? The second and third toe. Why that's important is that you have 4 muscles that make up your quads. Breathing, belly pulled in, and the vastus medialis, which is kind of more the internal quad, is a bit smaller and often weaker than the other ones. And so if you strengthen it, it really helps by turning the knee out. It helps really strengthen that vastus medialis. Otherwise, you tend to get some tracking issues. Now we're gonna reach forward with your left hand. I haven't forgotten. Come into reverse warrior, bring the right hand behind you. Try not to sink into your right knee. That's a common problem. Pull the knee back. Tired? Straighten your left leg. So whatever you need. Reverse warrior, reaching opposite directions. We're gonna cartwheel those. No, we're not. We're gonna bring your left arm inside that thigh, reaching opposite directions. Notice that my left hand is not touching the mat. And your right hand is reaching actively. So from that sternum or breastbone, I'm reaching in opposite directions equally, yin and the yang. How's that right knee? Pull it back. Really engage your quads here. We're gonna hold here for 5, hot angle for 4, 3, 2, and now we're gonna cartwheel those hands. Turn so both toes facing forward. We're gonna step back to plank. We're gonna shift forward. Chaturanga, cobra, chaturanga, up dog. Your choice. Listen to your body. And back to down facing dog. From here, we're gonna come down to our knees and meet in child's pose. So in child, we're gonna go to thread the needle. So this is a neutral position. left hand and thread it under your right arm. So come down to your left shoulder, left cheek, and drop the left sit bones back. If you like, you can take your right hand and reach around your back. Maybe grab the left waist, pulling that right shoulder down. So really stretching across that upper back. Breathing. You're still trying to sit back into that child's position though. Four more here. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to slowly make your way out of thread the needle. Back into a child's position. And then we're going to slowly come up. We're going to take your right hand and thread it underneath your left. You come down to that right cheek, right shoulder. We're going to sink those hips back. If you like, your left hand can stay reaching towards the top of your mat, or reach around and grab your right waist. We're going to pull that left shoulder back. Breathing, relaxing your face. Just settling into that pose. Five more here. And then we're going to slowly come up. Make our way back into child's pose, so just ease back into that child's position. Then we're going to roll ourselves over onto our backs. So as we lay onto our backs, we're not in Shavasana just yet. You wish. We're going to bring your left knee in towards your chest. Keep your head and your spine in contact with the mat. The right leg is flat. Take your hand and cross over the knee joint and grab along the calf and the shin. We're not putting any stress or tension on the knee joint at all. We're going to point your toes and then press through the bottom of the foot. So flex your foot. We're going to point your toes once more and then flex through the foot. Now keeping your foot flexed, we're just going to have your arms just pull the leg a bit more, really challenging the hamstring stretch. We're going to breathe for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. We're going to bend your knee and bring the knee towards your chest. We're going to bring the right to join your left. And then we're going to let your left leg come back down to the mat. And bring your right foot up towards the sky. Cross over the knee joint so you're grabbing along the calf or the shin. We're going to point your toes like a ballerina. And then flex through the foot. We're going to point your toes like a ballerina. And then flex through the foot. So here, just challenging it a bit. Now settle in. We're going to hold for 5. Spec. 4. She's digging in the garden. 3. Come here. Stay out of the garden. Come here. 2 and 1. Just a little bit more. Challenge it. Come here, Spec. And then we're going to back off. We're going to bend your knee back in towards your chest. We're going to bring the left to join your right. Come on, stay out of the garden. From here, we're slowly going to release one heel, followed by the other. Let your feet fall away from midline. Eyes are closed. And just settle into your mat. Breathing in and breathing out. Feeling the stillness and the calmness of your breath. Connecting the mind to the body. Time here. Now is the time to hit pause. Shavasana should be on your schedule, not mine. Others are ready. We're going to slowly open our eyes. torsos over onto our side. Whichever side doesn't matter. And you're going to bring yourself up to a seated position. Ears over shoulders, shoulders over hips. Hands at heart center. She's back in the garden. Namaste. Thank you for sharing your journey with me. It's just a reminder, if you have not subscribed to Everyday Life Yoga with Kim, now's the time to hit the subscribe button and hit the little bell sign to get notifications for every time I upload a new video. This class is your class, so please email me, message me on Facebook or on Instagram. I design these classes for you with your suggestions. Have a great